Hi, today I'm gonna show you how to knit this 2x2 ribbon V-neck sweater. Let's get started. Please check my description box for all the details. I put some related links such as my written pattern, also some video, because I've done V-neck sweater before and I have such a great video for making a plan. So if you really want to know the detail behind my plan, you can actually watch that video. Okay, so this is 2x2 V-neck Raglan sweater, t-shirt like, the half sleeve. Okay, and it's completely customized, size adjustable, and seamless, easy sweater. Okay, today's point is 2x2 ribbon. It's simple for the sleeve and body rib. However, V-neck, you probably don't know how to do it. It's quite simple, so I'll show you about that. Okay, and if you want to make the V-neck bigger or smaller, you can do it. Again, I put the link in my description box so you can watch that video how to make it smaller or bigger. First of all, you have to knit your swatch and take a gauge. All right? And you have to know your knitting tension. And number 2, decide the size of your neck opening, your desired opening size as round neck. Okay? And number 3, do the math based on your desired neck opening and your gauge. Okay, my swatching gauge was 4x4, 22 stitches and 28 rows. And my desired round neck opening is 17 inches. My actual neck size is 12 inches. So I want to make it a little bit bigger because this desired, the size is without the rib. Okay, so let's do the math to find out your cast on number. I open up my math gauge template. Okay, this is quite useful, and I used to share this template with everybody for free. However, I closed my website down, so I can't really, share this. So if you don't have this template, you have to do your math all by yourself. It's, simple math. Or if you don't like, doing the math, you have to Google it. There is, gauge math calculator online. All right. Or you can try to contact me and I can maybe help you with it. However, if you want me to help you, you have to do your part, which is knitting your gauge, find out your, neck opening, size, stuff like that. Please do not just ask me, I want to knit large. So what should I do? Well, I can help you because I don't know your knitting tension and the size you want, actual size. Okay. So let's do this. Okay. Oh, and I include all the manual math in my written pattern. So if you follow my written instruction, you should be able to find out But a lot of people don't like math. I understand that. So, you know, if you get stuck, just let me know. Anyway, if you have my, gauge template, um, this is how you do it. In this red section, it says your swatch and your gauge. So you have to input your, gauge information. Okay, so let me do that. My swatch was 4" by 4". And I had 22 stitches width across 4" and 28 rows height width 4" height. Okay, and my desired round neck opening, okay, was 17. Okay, I told you you have to find your desired neck opening as round, and then you will get rid of the front part because you have to create the V neck there, right? So I am going to put 17" as round neck. This is the yellow section, so let's go down. Yellow here, 93.5. And wait a minute, let's go down. I already actually put everything you need to know here, but let me explain. First of all, in this pink section, it says multiple of. I want you to actually pick the number multiple of 12. There we go, 12. So put the 12 here and enter, and there's here number. And my yellow number was 93.5. So you have to find the number close to that number. So 96. If you want to go smaller, 84, and you want to go bigger, 108, but the closest number is 96. Okay, so let's take a look this section here. I said you have to pick the number multiple of 12, and I picked 96. Okay, and I want you to find out your base number. Okay, so your base number is this number divided by 6. So I'm going to put the 6 here. There we go. And find out 96. Okay, right here. And this is your base, which is just, this number divided by 6. Okay, so 16. My base number is 16. Okay, 96 divided by 6 is 16. So your cast on number is, okay, multiple of 12 number, 96, minus base number times 2. This is actually for front piece. I told you I'm going to get rid of the front piece and then create the, V-neck here. So multiple of 12, 96 minus, right here, base times 2 is 32 for me, 16 times 2, plus 4, okay? Why 4? Okay, I got rid of the front piece, but I need some stitch to start with. So 2 stitch each side. That's why I add 4. So for me, 96 minus 16 times 2, which is base number times 2, plus 4. So this 4, everybody same number. Then my cast on number is 68. Okay? And next you have to know is the location of Raglan markers. Okay? So everybody same, right? 2, both front. Those 2 are the front piece, left and right. And next, and you put the, marker, base number times 1. This is your sleeve section. Sleeve, okay? Front and sleeve. There's got to be 2 sleeves. And then back is base number times 2. And this should be total of 68. For me, 2 marker, 16 marker, 32 marker, 16 marker, and 2. Okay, that's how you actually add Raglan markers. So Raglan marker, obviously 4 markers. And next, I want you to think, how big is your V neck? Simple. Base number minus 2. Base number is 16. So 16 minus 2 is 14. 14 times 4 is 56. Why 4? Because I am going to create, which is increase 1 stitch each side every 4 rows. So I am going to knit 56 rows to create my V-neck. You know what I'm saying? And 56 rows. Let's go up. Right here. Find out the length from row count. I know the row count, which is 56. So let's put 56 here and enter. And this is blue section. Let's go down to blue section. 56. And right here, blue. 8 inches. If I knit 56 rows, it's gonna be 8 inches height. So is this deep enough? Or, this is not too, shallow? I guess it's up to you. And if you really want to know and why I'm doing this, or if you want to change, if you want to go deeper or less, smaller V-neck, I talk about it in the other video. Okay, so you should watch that and you will know everything behind these math. All right, so again, I'm gonna tell you my plan is the cast on 68, and these are the Raglan marker locations, and I am going to knit 56 rows and to create my V-neck, which is 1 stitch increase each side every 4 rows. Okay, so let's move on to actual knitting. This is the yarn I used. Cast on. According to my math, my cast on number is 68, or your number based on your gauge and math. Okay, and you can use any technique for cast on. It doesn't really matter. Okay, and after the cast on, I'm not going to knit around. Okay, so turn the work, and this is the wrong side, purl. And while you're knitting wrong side, you have to add markers. Okay, I already talked about that. Everybody same. So purl 2, then put the first raglan marker, and next would be my sleeves. So base number times 1. So for me, base number is 16. So I make 16 purl and add raglan marker, something like that. Okay, so this is increasing row number 1, wrong side. All purl and adding the marker. There you go. I just want to make sure about it. Okay, I already put 4 raglan markers. Everybody's saying, 2 out front, that's your front, left and right. And next is your sleeve, base number times 1. And rest of them is your back, base number times 2. For me, 32. And total of 68 stitch count. Okay, so this is row number 1, all purl, adding the 4 raglan marker. and I am going to increase, okay, at the Raglan marker, also out front, but different timing. So you really have to be careful, okay? So what do you mean by the different timing? It's easy. Increase take a place on right side, always. However, V-neck, I am going to increase one stitch at a time on every 4 rows. However, for the raglan increasing, I am going to increase on every right side, which means every other rows. Okay, so increasing row number 2, now right side knitting. Okay, increasing row number 2. I'm not going to increase V-neck yet. However, I am going to increase at every raglan marker. So now knit until last one stitch before the marker and pick up the stitch from previous stitch, like that. The right side of the stitch, previous stitch, hook onto left needle and then knit front loop. This is make one right. There's different way to do make one right and left. Sometimes you use the running thread, but this time I'm going to use previous stitch. Now slide the marker and make one left. So I want to pick up the left side of the previous stitch. However, you're going to kind of cross if you pick up like that. So make one left, you have to knit original stitch first. And that stitch I just create is not the previous. Previous one is the one bottom. So 2 bottom from the needle, which is kind of blue stitch left side, that's you have to actually pick up. And then you knit, okay, back loop like that. This is make one left. Okay, I'll show you one more time, don't worry. So knit until one last stitch before the marker. Okay, so again, increasing row number 2, I only increase at raglan marker and both right and left. So total of 8 stitches I'm going to increase on this row. Okay, there you go. Knit until one last stitch, and now not running thread, the right side of the previous stitch you pick up. There we go. And then knit front loop. There we go. And then slide the marker and make one left. You have to knit, okay, original first. So you're not picking up like that because it's going to be the crossing the stitch. So knit original first and kind of 2 down from the needle. You have to pick up and then knit back loop like that. There you go. That's it. And row number 3, all purl. And row number 4, right side. Now I have to, okay, increase the V-neck part. So this side, you want to increase towards to right. So I am going to do make one right at this edge, and the other side make one left. So knit first, okay, then the second stitch make one right. Okay, for the V-neck, the second stitch for this side, and the other side second stitch from the last. And now don't forget the raglan increasing, because raglan increasing is at on every right side of the row. Okay, only for the V neck increasing is every 4 rows. Okay, so this is the end of increasing row number 4. So this is Raglan increasing. Okay, make one left, and then again the second stitch from the last stitch you have to do make one left. So knit original and then pick up the kind of 2 stitch bottom from the needle. Okay, I dropped the stitch, so I'll do it again. So I'm sorry, it's kind of tough to see right now, but you already know how to do make one left. There we go. Done. And you just have to repeat row number 1 and row number 4 until your desired length. And what is the desired length? Let me explain. The easiest way to find out is the sleeve. Okay, those 2 markers has to meet easily under your armpit. That's how much you have to increase. Also, you have to think about the body as well, but you can adjust the body later on. And the V-neck, I already talked about it with my math, right? So my target is 56 rows. So the next row will be my 56th row for my V-neck. Okay, and I check the, the sleeve. That's big enough, and I can actually meet under armpit. So length is good. So I decide I'm going to connect V-neck, also separate the sleeve from the body at the same time. Those, has to be done on right side. So this is the time, okay? So again, this is my last increase for V-neck, okay? So this is going to be 56 row. So make one right for the V-neck and knit until the marker. By the way, when you decide to separate the sleeve from the body, you're not going to increase at Raglan marker. No more. Okay? So after you finish the first V-neck increase, just knit until the marker. Right here. And again, no more increasing. And remove the marker. And with your scrap yarn, okay, transfer all the sleeve stitch onto the scrap yarn and use the scrap yarn because it's more flexible. So if you want to try that on, you can do that too. Okay, so there you go. Remove the other marker and tie the knot. Okay, so it's gonna be secure, right? So when you use the scrap yarn, make sure that's long enough. Okay. If it's too short, you can't try that on. Okay. And now I'm going to connect front and back piece. And here's the thing. I am going to add few stitches. There you go, right there. Okay, under your armpit. So if you want to make the body bigger, okay, you can add more stitches here. I usually add about 1.5 to 2 inch worth. And I'm going to add 8 stitches because I tried to have close to, a multiple of 4 stitch count. So I add 8. But if you want to make the body bigger, this is your last chance. So you can add 10, 12, 20, whatever. Okay? And then start knitting the back piece now. And you do exactly same thing for the other side. And again, the other side, you still have to increase 1 stitch for the V-neck at the end. You know what I'm saying? There we go. Here's a, V-neck last increase. So make 1 left, right? And after you finish the increasing V-neck, okay? No more wrong side because I'm going to connect both right and left V-neck right there. Okay, so I am going to knit in round from now on. So I add new biggie marker and add 2 stitches. Okay, and start knitting. So now everything is connect and sleeve already has been separated. So I'm going to knit only body part. So it's gonna be easy, right? Because we're done for the increasing. The body part should be big enough for your body. So just knit, 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 round, 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 round until your desired length. And think about it. After that, I have to add rib. So that's the time you want to stop. And now I am going to add temporary marker just in case. I put the temporary marker in between 2 stitches that I add for the V-neck. Okay? That's only for V-neck ribbon. Again, I didn't really have to add 2 stitches, but I did anyway. Okay? So let's finish the body. So there we go. The temporary marker stays at the bottom of the V, and I knitted it enough length. Now I change the needle to 3.5 millimeter, half size down, and then 2 by 2 ribbon. So repeat of knit 2 and purl 2. And because of I add 2 stitches at the bottom of the V-neck, okay, my stitch count is not multiple of 4. I have 2 stitches more. So multiple of 4 plus 2. So you can increase 2 stitches to make the multiple of 4, or you can decrease 2 stitches somehow. Okay? And I need about 2.5 inch for the rib, 2 by 2 ribbon. And now I change the needle to 4 millimeter and then bind off. The reason why I changed the needle half size bigger again, that's because I want the bottom part is little stretchy. Using the bigger needle means you're using slightly, more fabric. Okay, so that makes it a little bit stretchy. Okay, that's why I switch back. So this is done for the body part. Okay, it's beautiful. I love it. And I love this yarn. Okay, it's so cute. And I'm done with the other sleeve. And now let me talk about the sleeve connection. Okay, I've done this so many times, but this is important. So I'm gonna tell you, okay, step by step. Transfer all the sleeve stitch onto the needle. Okay, and I am going to knit up. Okay, and as you can see, there's no big gap. Okay, and I tried to minimize the that little gap. Okay, and I put the temporary marker, just one stitch before the last original, and I am going to add begin marker. That's gonna be center of the new cast, and one more temporary marker. Okay, one stitch before the last new cast. So as you can see, I add 8 stitches there, new cast, right? When you connect the body front and back. So I am going to knit up those 8, of course. However, if I start from that place, there's going to be huge gap in between last stitch and, the new cast, right? So I don't like that. So the technique I use, I knit up 2 extra in between those and another 2 extra right there, the other side. And then next row, you will decrease those 2 extra to, minimize the gap. And when you actually knit up those 2 extra, you using the running thread like that. However, if you pull that one running thread, it's going to be big gap anyway. So you pick up other, stitch before or after stitch like that. So you grab 2 thread like this, make smaller gap anyway. There we go. And there's a divider and one more thread like that, running thread, and pick other stitch and whichever, okay? Whichever the thread close to that running thread. And there we go. And look at, there's little gap there and I didn't like that. So I change the thread, then try again. There you go. Yeah, not bad, not bad. But still, I don't like it. So let's try other. So that's the running thread and 2 down. And let's see. There you go. Okay, doesn't matter. So let's try. This is starting on the verb of the new cast. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because I add 8 new cast, okay, after 4 stitch, I'm adding the new begin marker because that's right in the center. So another 4 I have to knit up, right? So 1, 2, 3. Then I am going to add 1 temporary marker just before the last new cast. Knit up. There we go. Because I need that stitch. Next row. Okay, so the last, new cast, just before last new cast, you have to add 1 temporary marker. And then, there you go, 2 extra stitch knit up. There you go. This is the 3rd extra. And this is the 4th extra. There we go. And now I'm going to knit the other side of the, temporary marker, which is just before the last original stitch. Okay, so right there. Just keep knitting. And again, now I'm going to decrease those 4 stitch total. Okay, so here comes. I just want to make sure what I did. Okay, temporary marker, the purple one just before the last original stitch. And then I am going to decrease with the first extra. Okay, and second extra, I'm going to decrease with the first new cast knit up. Okay, so I add 2 extra on the first connection row, and I'm going to decrease on second row to minimize the gap. And the other side, same thing. Last new cast knit up and third extra and fourth extra stitch with the the first original stitch, I'm going to decrease. Okay, so again, to minimize the big gap like that, you knit up extra and then decrease on next row. Would be better way to close that gap. Or, you can leave the gap and then sew them. That's, another way to, close the gap. Whichever you want to do. But I try to avoid sewing part, as much as possible. So, okay, knit until the first temporary marker again, which is before the last original stitch, and there you go, last original and first extra stitch, SSK. And the orange thread is little loose. That's because that's the start stitch. So you just pull the yarn end and make it tight. And the second extra and first new cast knit up stitch, knit 2 together. There you go. Close it. It's beautiful. And then knit until the other side of temporary marker. Slide the begin marker. There you go. Remove the temporary marker and the last knit up stitch and the third extra, same thing, SSK. Slip, slip, knit. And fourth extra and first original stitch, knit 2 together. That's it. And finish this row and then, knit in round as many as you want until desired length. I add 11 row after the connection, then add rib until your desired length, and then I did the stretchy bind off, which is using the 4mm needle. The rib I use 3.5mm needle, same as body. Okay, so after this I wanna talk about the 2x2 ribbon V-neck. There we go. The both sleeve ends. If you wanna make it longer, I put the link in my description box, so read and watch that video. Okay, so now V-neck. The rule number 1, you're going to knit up, right? And the bottom, stitch, those 2 stitch, right and left side, has to be knit stitch. And total stitch count should be multiple of 4. And number 3, right side and left side, it should be same stitch count. So you have to knit up very evenly. starting from the center of back, that side and the other side should have same stitch count and total of multiple of 4. What should I do? Well, you can actually forget about number 2, okay? Because I can give you a little trick, okay? So don't worry about it. And number 3, if it's close enough, it's okay. So the total count has to be multiple 4 is the most important thing, okay? So starting with the 3.5 millimeter needle, and from about the center of the back. The reason why I want to start from the mid of the back, that's because I can see both sides evenly. Because I have to try to get the same stitch count for each side and then make it multiple of 4. So anyway, I'm using the 3.5 millimeter needle, and back piece and sleeve piece easy because you just have to knit up, every stitch because of the direction of the stitch would be the same. You probably understand what I'm saying by looking at the the clip at this moment. There you go. See, so you just have to pick, every stitch. Oh, by the way, you're obviously facing on right side. Every time you knit up, you have to face on right side. Okay? So, as you can see, the direction of the stitch is towards to, up, right? So, I knit up every single stitch. However, starting from now, the V, see, the stitch look towards the above, but now I'm actually knitting up kind of towards to left. So now you have to kind of look at the stitches that I picked and try to knit up, evenly, right? So sometimes you kind of have to skip one stitch, sometimes you knit up every stitch, something like that. Okay, I'm not going to tell you have to knit up, 3 stitch and then one, stitch skip, stuff like that. I'm not saying that because I want to knit up as many as possible, but not too many. So, you know what I'm saying? So you got to be very, careful to knit up. If you knit up too many, the rib is going to be wavy. Okay? And if you knit up too less, it's going to be pulling each other. So it doesn't look too good. So anyway, I'm almost at the bottom of the V neck, right? And then, do you remember, the 2 stitch at the bottom has to be knit, which means, if I start 2 by 2 ribbon with the knit 2, I have to end with purl 2, then knit 2 at the bottom, right? So I actually put the temporary marker to make sure, those 2 stitch will be knit stitch. However, as long as, you're knitting stitch count multiple of 4, and both sides are pretty much equal stitch count, you don't really have to worry about those, 2 stitch at the bottom. Okay? Because I'll tell you why soon. Soon as I finish knitting up. Okay? Well, you probably know why. Because you kind of have to, think the other way around. Okay? So I want to knit, 2 stitches at the bottom with knitting stitch, right? So you kind of have to go backwards. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have to start with knit 2 for the 2x2 ribbon. You know what I'm saying? So if those 2 stitches are knit, the 2 previous stitches purl. So you kind of have to count backwards. Purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, stuff like that. And then ended up, I figured it out. I have to start with purl 1. And then repeat off knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, then knit stitch at the bottom and ended up, end with purl 1. And it's 2x2 ribbon still. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. I'm not happy, that I have to start with purl 1 and then, repeat knit 2, purl 2. That's because, next row, if I forget about that purl 1, I'm going to ruin my, 2x2 ribbon, right? So obviously, I wanted to start with knit 2. So, I don't really have to think. But anyway, so the first row, you just have to, knit 2, purl 2, repeat. Okay? And purl 2, then now, okay? Those 2 stitch at the bottom. I actually remove the marker and knit 2 at the very bottom, which is great. And now I want to put the marker back in between those 2. Okay? Temporary marker in between the 2 bottom stitch. Okay? So anyway, knit 2, then I gotta start with purl 2, right? And finish this row. And row number 2, same. From the row number 2, actually knit over knit stitch and purl over purl stitch. That's it. Okay? And there we go. This is end of the row. As you can see, there's 1 stitch left and purl 1. Okay? So, because I don't want to, make a mistake, I'm gonna actually cheat. I made purl 1 and put the, begin marker back on just before the knit 2. So now I don't really have to worry about anything, right? So row number 2, same thing, knit over knit and purl over purl. Okay, then let me talk about the row number 3. Row number 3, just keep going, knit over knit and purl over purl until the bottom stitch, and those 2 stitch, the right and left has to be knit. So what you have to do is, okay, 2 stitch before the marker. There you go. I have to do knit two together, and left side of the marker I have to do SSK. Okay, so knit all the way down to the V-neck bottom marker, 2 stitch before, and those two knit two together, and slide the marker, keep the marker at the bottom, and SSK, slip, slip, knit. That's it. And then after that, okay, knit over knit and purl over purl stitch. You lost 1 stitch each side, so just before and after the the bottom of the V, it's not the regular 2x2 ribbon, so don't forget about that. Okay, and you just have to repeat row number 3. So here, okay, no matter which stitch are those 2 stitch, even if it's 2 purl, forget it, just knit two together before the marker and after the marker, SSK, no matter what stitch. Then after the bottom part, just knit over knit stitch and purl over purl stitch. Okay, and you just keep doing, and whenever you feel good, the thickness, just bind off. And that's about it. It's done after you finish binding off. All right, so let's see the sweater. There we go. Beautiful 2x2 ribbon for the V-neck as well. Okay, at the bottom 2 stitch are the knit stitch, and both side it's quite even. All right, so what do you think? I think it's easy enough, and you can have one V-neck summer sweater this year. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.